Economic development happens when money comes from outside a region into the region.
It's our job to serve people and to make their lives better.
I spend a lot of time in Garfield County, Enid in particular.
That's probably one of the hardest things, to get the good title.
Everyone deserves help.
And he's been very instrumental in trying to make this deal work out.
You're basically self-insuring 100% of the loss.
Now having a new measurement tool to make certain we're ready.
My old friend.
Some girls have even led adoption drives for local rescue agencies.
I want to try to focus on the things out of life that are positive.
City Connections begins right now.
Hello again and welcome to a special edition of City Connections. I'm Steve Kime with the City of Enid. Thank you for joining me today. I'm sure this gentleman is a familiar face to everyone here in the Enid area. Bob Osborn. Bob, welcome. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you joining us today for our little special edition. And we're going to be talking about aging with grace. And I know we all get into different phases of our life, and sometimes topics seem so far away, and then all of a sudden when you find yourself in that category, you start paying a little bit more attention to topics. And we have the second annual event's coming up in a couple of weeks, the end of June. It's called Aging with Grace, and Bob has a lot to do with that, and we want to find out really about that event. But before that, Bob, tell us about your involvement, your beginnings, if you will, in home care or home health care, whatever phrase that you want to use.
Okay, Steve, about 10 years ago, I was looking for a new profession and saw that there was a huge demand for what's called home care, and it's different than home health because we are strictly non-medical. We can go in and help people cook, clean, bathe, get to doctor's appointments. We can help them with scheduling and things like that. And I went into the business incubator here in Enid, Oklahoma, and said, I've got an idea. And they said, well, let's write a plan. And we wrote a plan, and we took off. And that's how we got into this business. And like I said, that was 10 years ago. And now, after several years in the business, I got a lot of phone calls about, and they're emergency phone calls. Like you said, we don't like to think about those things until they happen. And we get a call, this happened to Mom, this happened to Dad, what's the resources available? And so that's how the Aging with Grace Conference was born, is trying to answer those questions ahead of time before emergency situations.
Let's talk a little about the overall industry, if you would, of home health care. Again, it's industry that continues to develop, in my understanding, and we're doing more things for people at home than we've ever done before. I think there was the mindset that you stayed in the home as long as you could, and then off you went to a nursing home, maybe. But times have changed. People get to stay home a little bit longer, and sometimes the entire life, if you will. So overall, the industry is doing what?
Right. Overall, the industry, they're finding that it's less expensive to keep people in their home. So that's the way the whole industry is going, is how can we keep people at home safely and keeping them healthy. People are living longer. And so we want to avoid going to the nursing home until it's absolutely necessary. And that's where the industry of home care came in to help people with what we like to call activities of daily living. And that's just things that you and I might take for granted, is getting up and getting dressed and cooking our own meal and changing a light bulb if we need to, or taking the trash out to the road. And as we age, those tasks get more and more difficult. And so that's where the home care industry comes in, and we do everything we can to help that person stay in their home and keep them healthy and active. And I would like to mention one thing. When I got in this industry and I would see a 90-year-old or 80-year-old person out mowing their yard, I would go, oh my God, they shouldn't be doing that. My mindset has totally changed. You know, if you want to age successfully, you've got to stay busy. You need to stay active.
You got to keep moving.
You've got to keep moving. That's the whole thing.
Well, what words of advice? Well, let me back up. I guess personally, I've kind of been introduced into this home health care industry, if you will, with my family member of mine, and I really got introduced to the needs that need to be met and things of this nature. But it was one of those things that was kind of thrust upon me. Mm-hmm. Something happened to a family member, therefore we have to respond this way. And like you said here at the outset, I'm sure you've had family members say, oh, this happened to grandma, now what do we do?
Right.
What word of advice would you have for people to kind of plan, maybe do forward thinking to say, okay, maybe in a few years we need to be in a position to take better care of mom and dad or grandparents or something like that. Is there any words of wisdom to share for people in preparation for that phone call?
Well, the number one thing I would tell them is you need to be at the Aging with Grace conference, because that's the whole reason Christy Baker at RSVP and I, we put our heads together, and you know, RSVP is a great organization. I serve on the board there, and they're actually the major sponsor of this event, and they do so much good work in Enid, but they get a lot of the same phone calls I do, like you just said, hey, this happened and I don't know what to do. And so, and often, you know, in a high pressure or emergency situation, it's hard to make the right decision. And so, like you said, with a little bit of planning, you can really make this process a lot better. You know, just taking a few minutes of deliberate thinking, maybe talking. I've got an elderly mother-in-law that we've started that conversation, you know, DNRs, medical directives, medical alerts, all kinds of things that you can do to prepare to age safely in your home. And, you know, the calls that we get is, I don't know the difference between home health, home care, hospice, what's the difference? And so just briefly, home care is non-medical. We'll do all the things that I mentioned before. Home health will come in and usually they're only there a very short time. They'll come in and help you with the health issues, and their objective is to get you past that health issue, and then they get out of the home. And of course, hospice can help with end-of-life activities, and they're all great organizations, great industries that help at different times in life. And one of the things that you'll learn at the Aging with Grace conference is how all these pieces of the puzzle fit together to make, you know, to avoid those panic phone calls like, help, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Well, let me go down the list of some of the agenda items at the Aging with Grace conference. I believe that's coming up on Friday, June 28th. And first off, what's the cost to involve, Bob?
Well, there is
attend?
It's $10 in advance, and you can get your tickets at Grace Care. You can get them at RSVP. They're on the corner of O&K Garrett and Van Buren. And you can get them at the Stride Bank Center, either online or in person. And then if you wait till the day of the event, it's $15. But that admission cost includes a great lunch. The Stride Bank Center does a great job of putting on lunch for us. It's a potato bar, salad bar type lunch. And last year that was one of the highlights. And it's just going to be a great event.
So we know it's Friday, June 28th, and it's $10 to get in the door at the Stride Bank Center. Do you say y'all come? Do you want everybody to come? Who do you think would be just so enlightened if they attend this conference?
Well, what we're finding is people 45 to 65 years old are often making decisions or helping their parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles make those decisions about aging. And so this is really targeted towards that 45 to 65-year-old to equip you to make those decisions when the time comes, and to help you with some advanced planning so that, hey, you know, when that happens, you're not in a panic. You know, okay, this happened and we prepared for it, we've got a plan, and these are the steps we're going to take.
I'm kind of making myself vulnerable, and this I'll share a lack of preparation in my wife and I's personal life, but when an incident happened with my mother-in-law, I turned to a bunch of Rotarians, and this was in another city at the time, and I said, what do you do? You know, what do you recommend? And thank goodness I had a bunch of individuals in a Rotary Club that had been there and done that. But there comes that time, even though when you have the best laid plans, you think you have everything in order, that you need to ask for help on, okay, we really need some guidance here. So if this conference can even just provide guidance, it's well worth it then. So.
And one of the things it'll do is when you do get in those emergency situations, you'll know who to call. You know, you can say, even if you don't know what to do, you'll know that there's resources in Enid that can help you through that.
Yeah. My very special guest today on this special edition of City Connection is Bob Osborn, a familiar face and figure here in the Enid community, very plugged into a lot of things. And we're talking about the Aging with Grace conference coming up on Friday, June 28th. Bob, I noticed the doors open at 8 o'clock and you can register for door prizes. Tell us about that. What are you giving away? Free trips or?
Well, I don't know if there'll be any free trips, but it's just one of the things that Christy Baker and I decided is we want this not only to be educational, but we want it to be fun and entertaining. You know, we got Tanya Warnock coming over the lunch hour to do a little bit of entertainment while we're enjoying our lunch. And the door prizes just add to the fun. And we've got over 36 booths that are coming, vendors that will be there with services that they believe would benefit this, generation as they age. And we've asked them to just bring along a door prize. And throughout the day at different times we'll have drawings and we'll give away some door prizes. And it's just fun to give away stuff.
Well, besides the fun, there'll be some tangible information. And one of the items on the agenda, I've noticed, the title is called Scam Prevention. Tell us a little bit about this seminar, because I think we're all bombarded with scams. It's not 60 and above, even though there may be more frequency there. But this has really become an ordeal.
And we all like to think we're too smart for that. But I want to tell you, I clicked on something in the internet a few months ago that I shouldn't have clicked on, and I got a virus on my computer. And I was really thought, wow, I should be smarter than that, But Mike Fields and the district attorney, they've got a task force to fight elder abuse and fraud. And you may have read about some of their cases in the newspaper where they arrested people for fraud. And Mike Fields is going to be presenting a program on elder fraud and things you can do and things you can watch out for. They're coming up with new ideas for fraud every single day. And this task force has come together with a wide variety of community people, and what we found is this person knows this much of the story, this person knows this much of the story, and when you sit down at a table and you put those pieces together, you go, oh wow, there's fraud going on there. So that's one of the topics that's going to be there. Very informative topic, I believe.
Well, we've had District Attorney Mike Fields on the ETN studio at different times, and he's so well versed and well spoken that I'm sure that will be a great topic discussion. Another topic coming up, what should you know about Medicare? Something along those lines.
Right. I recently got at the age of to apply for Medicare, and I had no idea what to do. So we got people there that are going to explain. And one of the things she's going to touch on, I know, is that when you go to buy a plan, they'll have all these different price points that you can buy this plan and you can buy this plan. And a lot of times people go for the cheapest plan, and that actually ends up costing you a lot of money in the end because it doesn't cover maybe the things that you really need in your life. So we'll have some explanation on that, on what to be looking for whenever you're either signing up or helping someone get signed up.
Is there any other topics? I know that you have a day-long event at the annual conference again on Friday, June 28th. Are there other topics, other discussions that we haven't covered that you have presenters lined up for?
I really want to touch on our best speaker, keynote speaker that's coming, Dr. Germaine Odenheimer. She's a geriatric neurologist. She's taught at OU on students on how to interact with people with Alzheimer's and dementia and all the other things that go along with that. And she'll be doing two topics. Just before lunch, she'll do one on misdiagnosis, because we find that even in my experience, I've seen people that were misdiagnosed with one thing, and later on they find, well, no, that medication isn't working, and they find out, well, it's because it was misdiagnosed. And she'll be talking about that. And then after lunch, a great topic is don't touch my keys. And there's all of us are probably, if we live long enough, are going to come to that point in our life where maybe we need to give up our keys. And she just does a great talk on that. We're very fortunate to be able to have her come to Enid and speak, and really looking forward to hear what she has to say.
I wonder if you have a seminar where the husband always puts his keys in one place every single time, and the wife puts them anywhere in a block radius. I wonder if, not that I'm implying anything, but where are my keys? That's a great topic. We're talking about the Aging with Grace seminar that's coming up, a conference, if you will, one-day event on Friday, June 28th. It'll be at the Stride Bank Center. This is the second annual event, and it's $10 to get in the door, $15 on the day of the event, again, Friday, June 28th. And doors open around 8 o'clock. Keep in mind, as Bob said, there'll be door prizes. It's a fun event. There's food involved, so everybody ought to attend. As we close out our visit today, Bob, what do we need to share? What do we need to remind people really about home care, taking care of folks, this conference, and the list goes on?
Well, we're all going to be faced with those decisions at some point in our life, whether it's for ourselves or for a loved one.
Isn't that the truth?
And you know, they say an ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure. Well, we're going to give you a whole pound of prevention at this conference if you just come. And, you know, if you just take away one or two things, they could save you thousands of dollars and in tons and tons of stress.
Very good. Bob, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate the work you do in the Enid community. And thanks for teaming up again with RSVP to put this event together, because as you said, there's been a little bit more excitement this year on it, and everybody's seeing the tangible benefits of it. And so thank you for doing that.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. And thank you for watching us here on this special edition of City Connections, Aging with Grace. Coming up Friday, June 28th, doors open at 8 o'clock, Stride Bank Center, and check it out. As Bob mentioned, a lot of topics to help us out as we move into different areas of our lives, as we try to help our parents and also our grandparents. Well, this is Steve Kime with the City of Enid. Thank you for joining us today. We sincerely appreciate you watching us each and every opportunity that we bring a special guest here in our great Enid community. Until next time, make it a great day. Thanks for watching.